Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Anything Cars podcast. Since I've created Anything Goes, I've covered car history, working on cars, and auto show coverage. So you should be enjoying your drive to work or when you have to work on your car, and I want to help you do just that. So I'm your host, Ron Mraz, and this week I'll be covering some of the best, easy first car mods you can do to your car. So thanks for listening into the first episode. This podcast will cover my current project and things that you can do to your car to make it exactly what you want it to be. So I bought an Impala about a little more than a year ago now, and this Impala and everything I've done to it has stemmed into its own video series. So on YouTube right now I have about 9 episodes up. So I plan to do like seasons of it, and by seasons I loosely mean like video after video, and I just want to sort it. But this whole Project Impala, it's been where I've started to mod a car with real actual things that can either help performance or just how it is on like the interior. So when I got the Impala, it was a used car. It's older, but it was fun to say the least. It was the first car I've really bought. I had a Cavalier prior to this, but you know the feeling when you own the car and it's yours and it's new to you. So I've been into cars for a long time, and I feel like a lot of other people have also gotten into cars at a young age. So being on Instagram and looking through everything, you see a lot of cool builds, or you go onto YouTube and you watch all these crazy videos of people doing stuff to their car, burnouts, people like the Hoonigans, and there's Cletus McFarland and some other people too. But guys like that, they inspired me, really to work on my car. And living in Michigan, there's a big car culture, obviously. I hope you know why. But yeah, this whole like kind of culture and everything that I've seen online has inspired me to build something up to what I want it to be. And it's not quite there yet, but I think everyone can like reach into these levels of inspiration that they can find online to get a better idea of what they want to build up. So first mod I did, I changed out the headlights to tinted headlights. It's funny. So my uncle actually, for like Christmas, sent me. He just bought them for me. I had a list of all the mods that I wanted to do, and that's a great thing too, to actually try to set up. If you know you're going to work on your car, a list, even if it seems crazy expensive, like that's perfect. So headlights, cheap and easy. I got them out of the way. They look pretty good. I mean, they're tinted. That's about it. But that's a good starting spot. So next thing, I started messing around with like mock-ups. And so far, when it comes to building a car up to what I want it to be, I think some great ideas are a list and even go into Photoshop and edit it up. I threw together some things that I had seen on other Impalas, and they were mostly aesthetics, not really performance. That was trickier, but I'll get into that. So you got all these pictures and things that you want to do to your car that are based on kind of what other people have done. And so I put my car next to the one that I'm looking at the picture of, and I take parts that I like from it, and I do my best to mock it up and just slap it on there. And I think this is a great way to visualize it because it's really cool. I've gone back to my pictures and I've seen what I wanted, and where I'm at now. And it's really, really nice to see that you can actually, do what you set out to do. So a list and pictures, that's great. So after the headlights, I think the next thing I got was a new head unit. So I saw online some guy had like an Android head unit, and this is great for any car. If you got a old Buick, I don't know, some kind of Nissan, maybe not for the Buick, but there are aftermarket solutions that aren't like a Kenwood or a Pioneer. They're good. So this one I have is by a company called I-tunes. I don't know. I think they're Chinese. I'm not sure. But basically, I can put Spotify on there. My own little version I use an app that is basically Android Auto, but you can do more with it since it's on an Android operating system. It's not some plugin that Chevy has. So that's really great. It gave me a lot of things that I didn't have before, like navigation and stuff, and that is a couple $100, but it pays for itself. So right now, I was riding around with new headlights and a cool head unit. And that was really about all I had for a little bit. And then I think the weather got better because this all started like October-ish, and I didn't start changing the car until maybe December. So the weather clears up, and I'm looking at things to do. And one of the first things that came to my mind was, well, this is cheesy, but it's an Impala, and I really like older Impalas. I love the design and kind of like the subtle muscle of like the 60s and the 70s. Not subtle, but like the cues, they look good, and it's not overdone. There's way too many overdone cars nowadays. So I kind of looked around inspiration-wise, and I made kind of this like fender flare design, because I noticed on the car there's already a fender flare there. And what's great about that, it's real subtle, but it's a little arcing line. You wouldn't see it unless you looked for it. But I saw that, and I was like, well, it's there. So what I can do with that is accent it. And so, that's what I did. I found a website that could print the vinyl sticker, and I got it maybe, I don't know how long after I ordered it I got it, but it was a process to put it on. So I have the flares now, and I'm kind of feeling out what I want the car to look like and be like. So some of the things that I decided on next. So right now with the mods, what are we at? We're at headlights, a head unit, and some kind of flares. And what I had told myself was you gotta calm down with the flares and the accents unless you have some kind of performance to back it up. Within this list, I put on a Nitrous Kit, and I was really looking at it for a while, and it's one of the cheaper ones, but it's great because for what it's doing and for what car it's on, it's a super safe application. We'll get to that. I got that much later. Because I liked the retro design of older Impala, they're older, of course, they're classics and retro or whatever you want to call it. But I took the modern Impala logo and I retrofitted it to the old one. So I took if you look at the 60s Impala decals, it's an Impala jumping over the Chevy racing flags. And what's interesting about that is on the Corvette, the red side and the red side of that logo is on the right, and the checkered flag is on the left. Taking that, the old Impalas, those two flags were reversed. So what I did in Photoshop, I reversed that, and then I put the Impala jumping over it, just like the older one. I got like a custom sticker and some other stuff. I just really used the sticker only, and it looks great. Took the Chevy logo off, and I debadged it and stuff, and I just slapped that new logo I've designed onto the trunk lid. So it's coming together, and I'm telling myself, like, okay, I keep adding stuff, but I'm not adding performance. I mean, it's not it's not much, but technically I'm adding weight. It's the opposite. I don't like doing that, but because the other stuff was a little more expensive, I should have waited and saved. The next major thing was a cold air intake. There's a lot of stuff on the internet about cold air intakes and what they do, or how you gain horsepower from them. Regardless of whatever the internet might say, there are benefits. But the cold air intake, whether it's either good for your car or bad, performance-based, it's a good thing to start at when it comes to like your engine bay. So I bought a cold air intake by Cold Air Inductions. They designed it for the 3.9 liter Impala, and I have the 3.5. I know that's pretty sad. So what I did with that is the stock air box with the filter and everything, that also holds the ECU and all of kind of the important bits of like the computer and obviously the intake. But in the stock form, it's a clunky box that's just kind of, I don't know, it's not a good performance setup, and it was never intended for that to be. I don't know. You gotta start from somewhere. So I ordered this cold air intake. It arrived, and it was perfect. I really enjoyed installing it. I did have to take the old air box and do some cutting and make it work, but it paid for itself in the end, because once I got it down and working and everything, it was just right. And it does look better too. There's a nice little like glass thing that opens up and you can see the filter. It comes with a really good filter. I'm not sure as to the quality of air filters that all cold air intakes come with necessarily, but it's a great thing to start with. So that kind of got me into the engine bay. I think I might be really stupid, but I think the same day, or maybe the day after, the same day I ordered the Nitrous Kit. It's so stupid. I've gotten so much stuff from people about putting a Nitrous Kit on a 3.5 front liter, 4-door, big old sedan. And I think it's hilarious because I enjoy working on cars. I can't afford a nice car. What do? I slap cheap performance stuff on it and cheap stuff into it, and I enjoy it. That's kind of the point of Anything Goes and the Anything Cars podcast, which you're listening to now. So I ordered the Nitrous Kit, right? It comes, and it's amazing. I have it up in my room, and I'm just looking at it, and I keep thinking, like, holy cow, it's nitrous. I have nitrous for my Impala, like this, that's one of the, if you're smart with it, I think nitrous is a really good, fun mod. If you're dumb, you could blow up your engine. So there's a lot of things that go into this, but anyways, I'm getting away from the topic. I think the first day, the day it came, I opened it up and I was looking through it. I will tell you that the easiest part of this whole Nitrous Kit install is finding a spot in your trunk and running the lines. That might sound backwards to some people, but I had no experience with wiring stuff, and I didn't get any help for this. So the wiring diagram that it came with, it was amazing. It really, really helpful. I have it outside, and I'm kind of looking at it, and it's like, I don't have enough time for this today. I'm going to take forever to do this. So I think I put it off to the next day. The next day, I went outside, started real early, as soon as the sun came up, or maybe a little, once it warmed up. So I had the car on jacks. It was up in the air, and I was underneath it, and I was running the lines and everything. And a tip for people who are installing nitrous, if you're gonna run the line from the trunk to the front, there's usually I think on cars there's a path to follow where there's other lines that run from the back to the front. And usually they're along the sides, since the middle has your exhaust or transmission or whatever. You got to be smart about where you put it in the trunk because you only have so much line. But once you run it and you know you have enough line, that's the easiest part. You get that out of the way. You put the solenoid in a good spot in your engine bay. I mounted on the solenoid onto I think it was like a computer brick or something. I don't I don't know the word for what it was. I needed a solid mounting point. I found it, and you might have to bend brackets. But anyways, wiring it's hard to learn quickly, but once you know it, it's not bad. When you do the wiring for the nitrous, you have to obviously wire the solenoid to the arming switch to the button, the go fast button. You have to figure out how to run the line from the solenoid into the cabin. What worked out for my car, the Impala, is that right where the AC tubing and everything else and all of the other wires come in on the passenger side footwell, there's a weird, really thick grommet that's doubled up from both sides, and you can take a screwdriver and kind of just push it in with the wire attached, gets it through, and then you just follow the wiring diagram. At this point, I have nitrous, I have headlights, the head unit, and some flares. What else do you do from there? Well, I got an exhaust, I deleted the mufflers, and I installed a cherry bomb glass pack. So a cherry bomb glass pack, you can call it a muffler, resonator, whatever you want. It changes the tone of it and it makes it louder. That's what you need to know when it comes to the mod itself or what it is. That's honestly where I'm at today. But I bought some mods and they're just waiting until the weather gets better. Because, who wants to work on their car when it's 1 degree outside? That's not enjoyable. There's a couple things waiting. I won't reveal what those are yet. But I think between headlights to some flares or nitrous or an exhaust, whatever you think is best suited for your car, it's not going to hurt. It might hurt your wallet a little bit, but you'll be okay. And you know what? You'll enjoy it. So that's the whole point of it. If it makes your car more enjoyable to you, that's great. Because there's so many people that complain about driving and commutes. If you're going to be in the car, you might as well make it fun, right? That's basically it when it comes to mods, really. I hope you've enjoyed the first episode of Anything Cars. I really think I'm going to enjoy making this podcast, and I hope you enjoy listening to it. So next week on Anything Cars, we're going to be covering leaked information and the styling cues of the upcoming CA Corvette.